Mr. President, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, at the outset, I would like to thank you, Mr. President, for convening this year's high-level political forum amidst the challenges posed by the COVID-19 pandemic. The pandemic still rages on with unprecedented impacts on people's lives and livelihoods and societies and economies. It has widened the pre-existing inequalities, further strained the resources, challenged our healthcare system, and threatened the hard-earned development gains. While the developed countries have deployed a massive fiscal stimulus to cushion the pandemic's impact and have led successful mass vaccinations, the policy response in countries like LDCs, LLDCs, and SIDS has remained much more limited. This is due to their weak fiscal conditions, logistical challenges, poor resilience capacity, and dwindling global support. For them, adequate access to vaccines remains many months away, if not years. This calls for affordable and universal access to COVID-19 vaccines for the safety of everyone, everywhere. Mr. President, even after the 6 years of the adoption of 2030 agenda, it is unfortunate that there still exists a yawning gap between ambition and action on the ground. Therefore, we must redouble our efforts in the remaining period for the effective implementation of the 2030 agenda, thereby building prosperous, progressive, resilient, and sustainable society. As rightly captured by the theme of this year's HLPF, the SDGs must continue to be a rallying reference in the decade of action and delivery. We must devise an inclusive and effective recovery plan that focuses on creating jobs, reducing poverty, strengthening healthcare system and social protection, and advancing gender equality. As we battle the second wave of the COVID-19 in Nepal, our focus has been on saving people's lives, strengthening the health system, and building a sustainable and resilient recovery. Despite the capacity constraints and limited resources, our efforts to end poverty, inequality, and discrimination continue to gather more strength in line with the national aspiration of prosperous Nepal, happy Nepali. Nepal has internalized and mainstreamed the SDGs into its national plans and programs. We have achieved considerable progress in the implementation of these goals, with important dividends made across major sectors. We shared this in our second Vienna report presented to this august body last year. Nepal is planning to graduate from the LDC category by 2026. For us, this is long-held dream in the decades of our development efforts, and we are determined to do everything possible to make graduation smooth and irreversible. In this regard, we expect an enhanced level of international support and cooperation with commensurate means of implementation, including ODA, trade, technology, and capacity building. In conclusion, Mr. President, we must not let solidarity fail when science has succeeded. Vaccine must not be a means of profiteering when people are dying. As the virus still mutates and spreads across borders, urgent collaborative actions with impactful packages to the poorest and most vulnerable countries are critical to help them respond, recover, and rebuild better. Let us not allow our commitment of leaving no one behind fade away in rhetoric. I thank you for your attention.